Yeah, so this is the one. Okay, so this is using the labor variances or arriving at the labor variances. So this is the data I think everybody has gone through. यहाँ पे देखो what is given. A building can be constructed by engaging a gang of workers as per details given below for 100 working days of 8 hours each. Number of workers in the gang and rate per hour has been given for the standard mix. Actual completion of the work took 104 days of 8 hours each. Remember when we started material variances, I told you we always start with standard quantities of actual production. Actual production के लिए कितना standard consumption है उससे हम start करते हैं, and then we compare it with actual quantities consumed, right? So यहाँ पे भी we will start with the standard hours for actual production and then compare it with the actual hours spent by the labor, and then this process which I explained on the board. So your standard hours for actual production in this case per labor is 8 days, sorry, 104 days into 8 hours each, which is 832. This is per labor. Now, ये same रहेगा. I told you, right? Even though your standard mix could be 100 kgs, but if you are producing 1 lakh kgs, तो पहले आप क्या करते हो? उसको प्रोरेट करके ऊपर करते हो, उसके बाद स्टैंडर्ड और एक्चुअल को कंपेयर करते हो. सेम वे यहाँ पे भी your अगर आपका एक्चुअल प्रोडक्शन 104 आवर्स का हुआ है, so first 832 hours per labor is, so you will have to put to standard for actual production. Actual production is 832 hours per labor. So there are 3 types of labor. यहाँ पे skilled, semi-skilled, unskilled. So standard hours for actual output will be 832 per labor into 6, 832 into 8, and 832 into 6. है ना? क्यों 686? Because question में दिया है 6 skilled, 8 semi-skilled, and 6 unskilled. So your standard hours for actual output become how many hours? Just take a summation, which is 16,640 hours, right? Now we come to the standard rate, 25 rupees per hour for skilled, 20 rupees per hour for semi-skilled, 16 rupees per hour for unskilled. Actual hours, 832 hours per labor into 8 hours for skilled, 832 into 6 hours for semi-skilled, 832 into 6 hours for unskilled. So again, we take a summation. Total actual hours is also 16,640. Actual rates have also been given to us. 30 for skilled, 24 for semi-skilled, and 16 for unskilled. So standard cost is now very simple. Standard hours into standard rate. This we will do for all the 3 categories of labor and sum it up. You will get your standard cost to be equal to 3,37,792. Same way we will do for actual cost also. Actual hours into rate per hour. Do it for all the 3 categories. Sum it up. You will get your actual cost to be equal to 399,360. Which means we are already now looking at a adverse variance because your actual cost has exceeded your standard cost. Okay? So your labor cost variance will be standard cost minus actual cost, which is like this. Okay? Now just add up. You will get your total labor cost variance as 61,568. This is better. Labor rate variance formula, standard rate minus actual rate into actual hours. Do it for all the three, add it up. This is your rate variance. Again, adverse. Efficiency variance will be standard hours minus actual hours into standard rate. Again, do it for all the three. So you will get your labor efficiency variance as 8320. Again, इन दोनों को हम sum करेंगे. Let's sum it up. These two, labor rate variance and efficiency variance. Sum करो. How much you get? You get 53248 and 8320. Sum करोगे, you will get 61,568, which is nothing but your cost variance. Again, we have split up the cost variance into rate variance and efficiency variance. Now, the problem here is that the efficiency variance is based on actual hours. तो हमें actual hours को भी productive hours और idle time hours में बांटना पड़ेगा. What is productive hours? What is idle time hours? How many hours have we lost? We have lost 16 hours per 16 hours per worker. Correct. Very good. So 16 hours into actual workers worked. Actual workers कितने हैं? 8, 6 and 6. So 16 into 8, 16 into 6 and 16 into 6. क्योंकि स्टैंडर्ड में तो थोड़ी लॉस होगा. जितना एक्चुअल लेबर ने नुकसान किया है वो हमको देखना है. So 16 hours per labor into actual number of labor. So this is your idle time hours. From our actual hours, we will reduce our idle time hours to get to our productive hours. So now what we have done is we have broken up the actual hours into two parts, productive hours and idle time hours. इन दोनों को ऐड करोगे 16,320 और 320, you will get 16,640, which is nothing but your actual hours. तो हमने इन दोनों को ब्रेक कर दिया. Productive hours कितने हैं और idle time hours कितने हैं. So now we are ready to do adjusted labor efficiency variance, which will be SH minus PH into SR. So standard hours minus productive hours into standard rate. So let's see adjusted labor efficiency variance कितना आता है. अगर आप इन तीनों को ऐड करोगे, so you will get your adjusted labor efficiency variance, which is 1664 negative, which is just 20% of your efficiency variance. अगर आप देखोगे हम यहाँ क्या कंक्लूड कर रहे थे? If you would have gone by labor efficiency variance, our labor efficiency variance was 8320 negative. तो हम सोचे थे कि 8,000 रुपए का नुकसान हमारा लेबर की इनएफिशिएंसी की वजह से हुआ है, which is not true. हमारे लेबर की इनएफिशिएंसी की वजह से सिर्फ 1664 का नुकसान हुआ है. बाकी is not attributable to inefficiency of labor, it is attributable to idle time. So what will be your idle time variance minus idle time hours into standard rate? And we will do it for all. And sum it up. You will get your idle time variance, which is 6656 negative. अब इन दोनों को ऐड करो. इन दोनों को ऐड करो, देखो क्या आता है. 1664 plus 6656, again 8320, which is nothing but your labor efficiency variance, which means now we have split up our efficiency variance into adjusted labor efficiency variance and idle time variance. So now we will go ahead with our rationale that it is the productive hours which have to be considered as your base, and break our productive hours in standard proportions to arrive at RSH, revised standard hours, which will be nothing but हमको पहले अपने proportions निकालने पड़ेंगे यहाँ पे. So proportions is 4992 divided by 16640, 6656 by 16640, and 4992 by 16640, which is 0.3, 0.4, and 0.3. These are your standard proportions. अब इस proportion में हमको क्या बांटना है? Productive hours को बांटना है, which will be your RSH. So RSH will be 16320 into 0.3, very good for skilled. 16320 into 0.4 for semi-skilled, and 16320 into 0.3 for unskilled. So now we have broken up our productive hours into standard proportions. This and this is the same. Please check. ये same है. ठीक है ना? Now labor yield variance SH minus RSH into SR. SH minus RSH into SR. Drag it down and add. कितना आएगा? So labor yield variance actually आपका positive है. So there was no problem with your labor. The problem was with your idle time. You have a positive yield variance. What is our mix variance? RSH minus PH into SR. And do it for all the three and add it up. Yeah, 8160 negative. So this was another problem. The mix was the issue. We have used the costlier resources, skilled resources. We should have concentrated on the semi-skilled and unskilled. It was the mix which was the problem, and the idle time which was the problem, not your labor's efficiency. Now add these two. Add these two and see what you get. This plus this, 1664, which is nothing but your adjusted labor efficiency variance broken up into yield variance and idle time variance. So in this example, we have covered labor cost variance, labor rate variance, labor yield variance, idle time hours, revised standard hours, adjusted labor efficiency variance, labor yield variance, and labor mix variance, and everything based on productive hours. Remember that actual hours have to be broken up into productive hours and idle time hours. Separate your idle time from your total actual hours to get your productive hours. Break your productive hours in standard proportions to get your revised standard hours, and then do the remaining calculation. All the other logics remain the same. ठीक है?